So today's video is going to be a little bit different. If you don't know anything about our church, please click, there's a link below, thenoise.church, click on that and go and read all about it. If you have any questions about that, I'd love to talk to you about it. Leave me a comment or anything. I'll be more than happy to discuss that with you. If you have any questions about our business, there's also a link to that below, DanielleElizabethInc.com. Click on that. You can see everything that we do. But if you don't really know anything about us, this video, it's going to be out of context. It's not going to make a whole lot of sense to you. So if you want to continue watching, just know that there's a reason behind all of it. All right, so here's the deal. I've been getting a lot of questions lately, especially a lot of questions about our travel and all that kind of stuff. People see us posting about Tuscany and Amalfi and Paris and Rome, and they decided that they want to have an opinion about what it is that we're doing without really knowing the facts. So here I am to present the facts. Now, some of the questions are totally innocent, coming from people who really don't know what it is that we're doing. They're just curious about the church and what we have going on, and that's totally fine. Now, on the other hand, I'm getting a lot of questions from people that have frankly been pretty rude, that are almost more just casting judgment than anything else. And I mean, sometimes they're not even questions. They're just statements. Stuff like, "Wow, you guys sure have been traveling a lot." Or, "You've been to Oklahoma a lot lately. Are you moving back?" No. So let me clarify. Danielle has spent the last 10 years building a photography and wedding business that has provided for us. And in the last 4 years, she's taught me how to do video. And because of that, we are able to not have to work a 9-to-5 job. We're able to work from home and provide for what we need to do and survive. And we can do that, and we don't have to have a quote job. That is our job. We have a business. That's what we do. And that trip to Europe, paid for by a client who also was paying us to do video and photo for their wedding. Guys, it's our job. That's what we do. Which brings me to the church and starting a church here in New York. I want to use this as an example. When the Apostle Paul in Acts was traveling around and preaching the gospel to people, and it's in Acts 18, so you can look it up. He says that he was a tent maker, which was his trade, which was how he made money, so that he wouldn't be a burden on the people that he was trying to minister to. Think about that. He didn't want to be a burden on the people he was trying to minister to, so he had a trade that provided for his needs. I've been a part of a lot of churches. I've been a part of church plants. I've been a part of small churches. I've been a part of big churches. And there's a thing about starting a church that has always kind of bothered me a little bit. And that's whenever people start a church and whoever it is that's going to be the pastor decides, and I've seen the numbers, I've seen the budgets, whenever you start a church from the ground up and you decide to take a sizable salary at the very beginning and wonder why your church fails, why weren't you making tents? Now, for the sake of not being too judgmental on the whole thing, I don't know every situation. I don't know every situation for every pastor and every church and every church plant. I just don't know those things. So if this doesn't apply to you, don't take offense, please. But for me, starting a church in New York, the thought of coming up here and asking people to pay my way just so I could, quote, do ministry every day didn't make a lot of sense, because we have a business that provides for us. Why would I walk away from that and stop doing that and expect other people to provide for all of my needs? I'm not going to do that. God has opened doors for us through our business that allows us to live here and to do ministry here. I'm not going to shut those. I'm not going to say, "No thanks, God. People are going to take care of us because we're doing ministry." He's like, "No. I gave you a trade. I gave you something that you're good at doing that people want to pay you money for. So do that. You're still going to have time to do ministry." And on top of that, I get a lot of questions from people about our services. What are your services like? Like, have you found a building yet? Have you started services yet? And for people who don't know, who genuinely don't know, I love having this conversation and explaining to them what we're doing. But for anyone that I've given this book to, or for anyone who's seen our website, when you ask me that question, it's a little frustrating because the answer, it's in there. It's on this page right here that says Our Goals, right there. In this area right here, it says, after 18 to 24 months of developing our core groups, we will officially launch a location. 18 to 24 months of being here, building relationships, and building a foundation with people before we ever have a building or a location. I want to do this right. I didn't want to come up here and just start having service and expect everything to work out. In our process of praying and fasting about starting this church in New York, we really felt called to be different. And part of being different for us was not taking a salary, getting to know the culture before we just started a church and expected it to work. Because had we done that, just the short time that we've been here, had we done that, just started a church, I'm about 100% sure, maybe 90% sure, we would have failed. It would not have worked out because we didn't know the culture, we didn't know the needs, and we didn't know the people. But having that 18 to 24 month buffer from the time that we get here to the time that we actually start doing anything that looks like what most people would consider church to look like, we're able to learn so much about this place, about this city, about the people that live here and what they need, and how we can best present the gospel to them, and how we can love them the best way, in the way that they need to be loved and the way that they need to be taken care of. And if you want to know why New York City, which was a question that I also got a lot, was why New York City? Don't they have Hillsong? Don't they have all these churches? Like, yeah, there's a Hillsong here, but that's one church. And again, back to this book. And you can go and look at our website. This whole thing is on our website as well, thenoise.church. I put a link below every video that you can click on that and go and check it out. But on this page, if you have this book or you have access to our website right now, go and check this out. And it says at the very top, why New York City? Because in the tri-state area, there are 22 million people. 22 million people in the tri-state area. 8.5 million of those people live right here in New York City. And less than 5% of them attend an evangelical church. Because as of 2016, there were 251 evangelical churches in New York City. Now, if you do the math on that, you'll realize that's about one church for every 35,000 people. Guys, this city is underserved. It needs more people to be here presenting the gospel, loving them, doing ministry, and showing them who Jesus is. So whenever you ask me questions that I've already answered, or that you should know the answers to because I've given you this book or talked to you about it, that's why I'm getting frustrated. I have a lot to focus on and a lot to do, and that doesn't include answering judgmental questions from people. So do I travel a lot for work? Yes. Are you going to see me travel more from here on for work? Yes. In fact, in a month, we're going to be in the Dominican Republic, so just so there's no questions about that, it's for work. And one of the things that I love about working from home and being able to afford to do that is that whenever I want to go and do ministry during the day and I want to go to the Bowery on Sundays and help out, I don't have a 9-to-5 job that I have to take off from. On Mondays, whenever I want to go to Rikers Island and help out with the ministry, the prison ministry there that Pastor Rex is doing, I can go and do that without having to worry about taking off work. And I think if we really take a step back and ask ourselves, why so many church plants fail? Why so many church startups fail? I think a lot of that has to do with where we're putting the money that people are sending us. Are you using that money to do ministry, or are you just using that money to pay someone a salary? That's the question. And whenever I asked myself that question, whenever I thought about doing things differently, the thought of taking a salary didn't make sense. Why would I do that? Whenever I have this trade, this job that provides, that God is opening doors for, that God is blessing and continuing to bring us more business and more money through that job, why would I shut that door? Why would I close that door? Why would I walk away from that whenever that's how God is providing for us to be here right now, doing ministry? That makes no sense. All of this frees us up to be able to do ministry and actually do more ministry because we're not tied to a paycheck. We're not worried about where the money's coming from in terms of the ministry in the church. God's got us covered in other areas to take care of that so that the ministry remains, in my opinion, pure. And I do want to clarify, I don't see anything wrong with people taking a salary as a pastor and getting paid to be the pastor, especially whenever the job requires their attention all day, every day, whenever that's their main focus. But right now, that's not all that I have going on. The ministry that we have to do in front of us right now, that building core leadership and getting involved in other ministries and connecting with other people and networking with other people and getting to know this city and getting to know the people, that doesn't require my attention all day, every day. Again, back to Acts with Paul. Like, he worked throughout the week making tents, and then on the Sabbath would go and preach to people. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're working throughout the week, making videos, doing photography, and then we go and help out with the Bowery. Then we go and help out with Rikers. And on top of that, we get to meet people, we get to make friends, we get to network with people, we get to build community. And for the next 18 to 24 months, that's exactly what we're here to do. Build community, make friends, network with people, find those people that are supposed to be a part of the core leadership of this organization, and get to know them. So am I a little bit heated about this? Yeah, I'm kind of tired of the questions, especially from people who know better. And if you don't know anything about this church, if you don't know anything about us, and you just now got to this channel and you just now started watching this video, it's not for you. This video is not for you. Go check out my videos before, or subscribe to this channel and watch tomorrow's video. It's gonna be a totally different thing. But today I just felt the need to address this situation. And so we're here, thinking outside the box, trying to figure out what could church be like if we didn't do things the way that we've always done them. What if the church didn't totally rely on the donations and the tithes from the people within the church to function? What if instead of only being open one day a week, we were open 7 days a week? What if our focus, our number one focus, was loving people and presenting the gospel of Christ and presenting the love of Christ and showing people who he is, instead of being focused on our services or competing with other churches in the area? I have so much that I would love to talk to you about, but this video is going long and it's kind of, it'll get off topic if I start talking about other stuff. But if you feel called or have the desire to, or feel led to be involved with anything that we're doing, I welcome you with open arms. Please come and help us out if you feel like God's calling you to do that. But if God's calling you to do something else, and there's any hint of judgment or gossip or any of those things in the questions that you have for me, keep them to yourself and focus on what God's calling you to do. Please, it'll be better for all of us, I promise. Because this whole thing, churches and the body of Christ, we're all on the same team, guys. So if you're not supporting what God is calling another Christian to do, then you're totally missing the point. Focus on what God's calling you to do. Think about that.